Good evening, and welcome to the 2024 Fall Town Hall Debate. We are broadcasting live from the beautiful Community and Senior Center here in Gardnerville, Nevada. I'm Renee Louie, your host from the Business Council of Douglas County. We'd like to welcome in to our full house the addition of all the viewers at home. We welcome you in as well. I'm going to have a great evening tonight with your help. We have incredible moderators this evening that I'm first going to introduce, and that is prior state assemblyman, state senator, and minority leader, and current Nevada Director of Conservation and Natural Resources, and about 400 other titles and important jobs he's held serving this great state of Nevada and Douglas County, James Settelmeyer. Then we have Bobby Thompson, a legend, aviation legend, community leader legend. She's a longtime member of the Business Council. She's a board member. She's immediate past president of the Business Council. She was longtime manager of the Minden-Tahoe Airport. And oh, by the way, a world-renowned pilot and aviation expert. We'll go ahead and throw that in. Please give her a hand. On behalf of the Business Council Board of Directors, the sponsors, and the moderators, welcome in, everyone. This evening, we are proud to celebrate the 22nd year of the Town Hall Debate, and I'm only 25. That's good math. That's how it works, right? We began at CVIC Hall in Minden all those years ago, and that was pretty much the biggest place you could hold a community event. And for those of you that have been to that beautiful, wonderful hall, even upstairs in the rafters, people were standing to attend the Town Hall Debate. And then we moved to the crown jewel of our community, this community center. The continued support by all the candidates and by all the sponsors and by the community of the debate shows that it's an important thing, and we must continue it, and we're happy you're all here. The debates are always at capacity. That's you being interested in helping to vote for the future of our community. The dedication of the voters in Douglas County is probably the highest in the state. I would compel anyone to argue with me on that. Tonight we're going to learn from candidates who are willing to work for practically nothing for the next 4 years. I don't know why, but I do. It's passion, and they care about our community, and they want to serve. Tonight, we're going to have thousands of viewers online, and for those that couldn't watch us live or be here in attendance live, we will also have it available in a few days, give or take, and we'll put that out for the Record Courier to provide the link, so be sure to watch their homepage on their website. And you can watch it as often as you want before you place your votes. I would like to welcome some Nevada officials in attendance tonight, and if you see them, be sure to say hello. They're currently serving you in very important roles. I have Vice Chairman of the County Commission, Charla Hales. Where's Ms. Hales? I have Commissioner Mark Gardner. I have the Honorable Michael Johnson. There he is. I have Clerk Treasurer Amy Bergens, back in the back. I have County Recorder Shawneen Guerin. I have Town of Minden Brian Davis. And as well, Town of Minden Larry Walsh. I have School Board Trustees Doug Engelkirk. Thank you, Doug. And I have Linda Gilkerson. Linda, are you in the house? There she is. I also have former County Commissioner Dave Brady. And I also have not only former County Commissioner Kelly Kite, you would most fondly remember him as well as Assemblyman Kelly Kite. Thank you, Mr. Kite. This evening, the public was able to visit with the candidates for an hour before we began the debate. It's a true local tradition that they have one-on-one time with the community and those most interested that come and attend that are able to in person. This continues to be an unprecedented time and lives of our lives in our community. Things aren't easy. There continues to be anxiety, there continues to be disruption, there continues to be a recession, and there's a tough economy, and there's more. Many agencies and organizations, including local government, the chambers, the business council, many nonprofits, and volunteers across our entire county, all are sticking together, just like you. We want you to continue to stick together. We want you to do the right thing at all times and think before you choose. Now more than ever, you are seeking leadership, guidance, and wisdom, and answers to tough questions. We all are, right? In 22 years, I've been lucky enough to be your host for this debate. We planned this for almost a year. We always promise for this debate to be useful, respectful, honorable, and informative. We always make that commitment to you, as do the candidates. I want to thank the Community Services Director, Brooke Addy, who recently took the position after Scott Morgan had served in that role for more than 30 years and is now the Assistant County Manager. And also let you know that they truly are community partners, not just in this, but in everything. Our partners tonight and the hosts of this debate all work very closely all year long. We have the Tahoe Chamber and Steve Teixeira. We have the Carson Valley Chamber and Executive Director Alicia Main. We have the Record Courier, and today we have Kurt and Tara. We have both of them here. And then, of course, we have Brian Culpa Photography, all deserving a big round of applause. Please keep in mind that the views of the different respected longtime organizations and partners are their own. And we appreciate the diversity each and every one of those organizations brings to this community. They are the hub to the community, and we appreciate all of you very much. Thank you so much. Tonight we're going to hear from several candidates who have chosen to run for difficult jobs. All candidates on the ballot for Justice of the Peace and School Board are the two races we're going to debate this evening. All of them were invited some time ago. And your opportunity to get them to know them better is definitely an opportunity tonight you should take advantage of. Their participation in any event is entirely at their discretion. It's ultimately their campaign journey, it's not ours. For those candidates that could not attend tonight, they may be here in the crowd, that they may come in late, but they send their best if they are not on the panel tonight at their debate. There was a reason that they personally chose. They weren't able to make it. They had a conflict, that type of thing. We do announce the debate well in advance so people can hopefully book that on their calendar, but we understand. So that should not be a deciding factor. Please get to know those candidates if they're not on the debate panel tonight. These candidates have prepared for weeks, if not months. They've worked very hard to share with you their thoughts on why they want this job and how they're going to lead our community, right? So thank you to all the candidates, all your preparation, all your hard work, all the emails, all the questions, and running for the position. We appreciate you. Please give them a hand. The format for the debate is the same exact format that it's been for nearly all 22 years. We've fine-tuned a couple of things, right, James, over the years, but for the most part, it's always the same. First, this evening, we're going to hear from Amy Bergens, our clerk-treasurer, who's going to explain some confusing things in Nevada and our county. Some of us got this, right? And boy, there's a whole hell fury burning on social media and in the media and the newspapers. Then you got a notice of correction. And then you might have got an official sample ballot or not. And there's lots of questions on why all these mailings are coming out and why some people have them and why some people haven't received them. So Amy's going to speak to us first. Then James Settelmeyer is going to speak to you about some of those questions on the ballot in a neutral position as to what the pro and con actually might mean. Sometimes when you read the pro and con, I don't care what degree of education you have, it seems that they put the words in opposite orders to be more confusing. So he's going to talk a little bit about that. Then we will have the Justice of the Peace candidates, and then we'll have a break, and then we'll come back live to our watchers at home, our viewers, and then we will have the school board candidates. Does that sound great? Is that a good deal? All right. So with that, and no further ado, I would love to have James Settelmeyer and Bobby take it away and welcome Amy up.
Thank you for that. Amy is coming to the stage right now. She's going to walk up and occupy one of the center pinnacles there to kind of talk over some of the different mailings everyone got. I know myself, it's like, wait, does this mean I have to re-certify or sign up or what's going on? So she wanted to make sure to make it very clear to all the voters of Douglas County and on TV land what exactly all that meant.
Thank you. Is this on, or do I need to turn it on? We're good? Okay, sorry. Good evening, and thank you for coming out tonight and logging in and taking the time to get to know the candidates. The ballot is full of offices that are up for election that are vital, and it also contains 7 ballot questions. I would highly recommend that everyone do some research on the ballot questions, as many of them will have a huge impact on our state. I'm honored to have been invited to speak tonight. Thank you to the Business Council of Douglas County, the Carson Valley Chamber of Commerce, the Tahoe Chamber, and the Record Courier for annually holding such an amazing event as this. I especially want to thank Renee Louie, the executive director of the Business Council that we just heard from, who puts countless hours into putting all the pieces of the puzzle together to make this happen. It was 2 years ago tonight that I stood up here for my first debate, and I remember how nervous I was. And as soon as I left the stage, Jim Wheeler said to me, "Good job." And I looked at him, smiled, and said, "Thank you. I'm going to go throw up now." My heart goes out to the candidates that will be standing up here in a couple minutes. Just know it gets easier as time goes on. I'm here tonight to give a quick update on all things elections. I want to start with an update on the new voter registration system. The state transition to a top-down voter registration, it's a bit confusing. I'm not going to go into great detail, but I want everyone in the public to know that Douglas County has been actively involved in every step of the process of this new voter registration system. I have some of my poll workers are in the back with this system so that you guys can have hands-on if you are here live. I highly encourage you to come back and ask the questions. It's in test training mode, so it's superheroes right now that you can log into in the voter registration system. It's not live data, but I want everyone to know that it's going to look different when you come in person to vote, but that it's the same information. It's been tested, it's been vetted, and I am confident in this system. It's voter registration system only. It is not the tallying of the votes. It is for the back end, the voter registration, the mail ballots, who gets sent one when we receive them, keeping track of the voter registration itself. So just know that the tallying of the votes is going to be the same as it has been since 2018 when we started using the system that we have. It will increase the security of the election. This is a statewide system now, which means that the counties across the state have access to the same information. So when someone goes and checks in to vote here, they can't then go to another county and try and check in to vote or try and same day register. We'll be able to catch that instantly instead of finding it after the fact and having to delete the provisional ballot. We'll be right there at the polls, be able to tell them, I'm sorry, you've already, voted in another county. So it is definitely going to increase the security of the elections. With that said, I will get to the signature cards that a lot of you probably got in the mail. With the new voter registration system across the state, it means that every person in the state got a new voter registration number, voter identification number. The Secretary of State, on behalf of the clerks, sent out new voter notification cards to let the state, every voter in the state, know their new voter notification number, voter identification number. With that was attached a signature update card. There was a lot of confusion over this card. It looked like it was mandatory to send back in order to keep your voter registration active. That is not at all true. It is an optional card that if you feel like you need to update your signature with my office, you can return it to us. We do have a drop box. We put a drop box out front of the courthouse in the back area of the courthouse for you to come and drop it off. That is manned with a bipartisan team so that you guys don't have to come in the building. So if you do want to drop it off, feel free to just swing through the back parking lot, hand it off to my election workers, and they will ensure that it is kept safe until we are able to bring it into the office, stamp that we've received it, and file it. So we're trying to make it as simple as possible for you to drop those off so that you don't have to mail them. I know that there was a lot of concern over putting your signature and personal information on those and then putting them into the mail. So just know that if you want to update your signature, we will do everything we can to make it as efficient as possible for you. The sample ballots did go out on September 26th. So if you have not received one of those, there is always the chance it's lost in the mail. However, I would highly encourage you to go on to registertovote.mv.gov and check your voter registration. Just make sure that you are still an active registered voter. Or you can always reach out to my office at elections@douglasnv.us. Mail ballots will be going out tomorrow. So this is perfect timing. I complimented Renee on her timing, and she's like, of course. So mail ballots will go out tomorrow, so you should receive them in the next couple of days. And we expect to start getting them in next week from the public. We will have our drop box out for you to be able to come and drop them off at our office if you don't feel like you want to put it in the mail to get it to us. Early voting starts on October 19th and runs through November 1st. Early voting happens right here at the community center on the other side, on the community center side. We will be here on Saturdays from 10 to 2 and Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then including Nevada Day. So if you're off on Nevada Day, come and see us. We will be here and we will be open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So. And then, of course, Election Day is Tuesday, November 5th, and we will have 5 different vote centers. We have Indian Hills GID, we have Kale Community Center, we have right here in the big gym floor, we will be here. We have Topaz Ranch Estates Community Center and Washoe Tribe Community Center. So those are our 5 vote centers. They will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if you have any questions, you can always come by, talk to my staff, talk to me. You can also go to govotedouglas.com, and we will be updating our website regularly with all things elections. So thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ms. Jurgens, for that. And just for everybody out on TV land and radio land, when she says tomorrow, she means 10/10/24. The ballots will be mailed out to everyone. With that, I've been asked to kind of just go over very briefly the ballot questions that will be appearing on the statewide ballots. There are a total of 7 questions. I'll just give a brief overview of them, trying to do it in a neutral stance so that everyone at least has a precursor of what they're going to be saying. So in that respect, you have question number 1, which is dealing with the university system. This question has been before the voters before. It originally came from the Nevada legislature. It came out as a byproduct of something that happened when we had a bad economy. The economy went bad. We had to do cuts across the board when Jim Gibbons was governor. During that time frame, we talked to the university system. We agreed. They agreed. Everyone was going to take a 3% cut. The university system, interesting enough, is a fourth branch of government in the Nevada Constitution. It answers to no one in some respects. That being said, they decided that the 3% cut didn't have to be obeyed. They gave certain departments 24% cuts and the athletic team a 3% raise. That angered some of the politicians. Therefore, they put this forward saying that no, they should have to answer to someone. So that's the concept of the ballot. Now, the argument against passage is that by doing so, you eliminate the ability for you, the citizens, because you have the final say right now. You could always look at those regions and say, we don't like what you did, and we're kicking you out. The argument for passage is sometimes the legislature is a little bit more familiar with the goings-ons of the budget and could have an opportunity to weigh in a little bit more and make sure money goes to the correct places or incorrect places, depending if you trust the legislature or not. I was in it for 16 years, and I neither trust nor do I untrust them in many respects. That being said, that's kind of a synopsis of Q1. Q2 resulted kind of as a precursor off of a piece of legislation that was done by then State Senator Barbara Sagaski, who was also Secretary of State. She went through the Nevada revised statutes and indicated that it's time to update languages to make sure that we are calling people correctly a more respectable terminology. So what it seeks to do within the state constitution is to change the term from insane to individuals with significant mental illness, from blind to visually impaired, from deaf and dumb to deaf and hard of hearing. That was already done in Nevada revised statute. This seeks to try to do this within the constitutional context. The argument for this is it's already been done in the statute, so it's no big deal just to go ahead and adjust the Constitution. The argument against it is, why are we tampering with the Constitution? It should be big things that are done like this. We shouldn't be doing minor word changes, and what's the new word going to be tomorrow? Or are we going to have a new term yesterday, or what's going on here? We can't always keep up with the times. The Constitution needs to be firm. So in a synopsis, that's question 2. Question 3 is hard to give a very quick synopsis because it has 2 subjects: rank, choice, open, primary, voting. So in that respect, the concept is to change the electoral system to go to, at first, an open primary. Now I'll try to do both pro and con. The concept of open primary's main goal is to allow everyone to vote. I myself tried to do a thing called a modified open primary one time. It seeks to allow everyone to vote in the primary system. That being said, it's indicated there's over 1 million people that at this present point in time don't have the opportunity to vote. Now, whether or not they'll vote is a whole other subject. That being said, that's the idea of the open primary. An argument against the open primaries is a primary is supposed to be about the political party and for them to make those type of decisions. In California, when they went to open primary, they now only have one party in the general election many times. More importantly, they've tripled the cost of running for office. They have quadrupled the number of lobbyists that are required to talk to the candidates and elected officials. The other part of the question deals with ranked choice voting. What it seeks to do then in the general election is you, the citizens, if it passes, would be given 5 choices. Then in the general election, if more than 5 people ran, it'll whittle it down to 5. In the general election, you would then go in and choose your number 1 candidate, and then you'd also choose your number 2 candidate, your number 3, your number 4, and your number 5 candidate. What that seeks to do is then allow people to have a choice, so if their number 1 person gets kicked out, then they have the opportunity that their number 2 would be in play, and so on, until someone finally won the election by 50.1%. So that's kind of the synopsis of it, and that's the argument for passage is it allows your choices to be all the way down the system. Maybe you really, really like this one person, but you think there's no way they can win. But you know what, I'm going to vote for them anyways because I know that if they don't, I know my second choice then will, and that gives them more choices. The argument against it is every state that's done it has come into issues where if you don't fill it out in its entirety, your ballot gets tossed. So that means you're going to have to be at the ballot, making sure you choose every single choice. One of the other arguments against it is one I've kind of run into. Sometimes it's difficult for many voters to trust the electronic voting system as it is, let alone to allow it to do complex tabulations. That's ranked choice voting in a nutshell, open primaries. Question 4 seeks to remove slavery and involuntary servitude as a criminal punishment from the Nevada Constitution. We're only one of 7. There are 23 states that have that in their constitution currently. 7 states are seeking to pull it out. With that being said, let's remember the states. California also at the same time has it on the ballot. Last fall it was taken out in Alabama, Oregon, Tennessee, and Vermont. So that's what it seeks to do. The argument for it is we haven't had involuntary servitude in the criminal punishment system since the late 30s. It's time to take that language out. It's not proper, slavery in any form. Therefore, let's just take it out of our Constitution so it doesn't have to be there. So that's basically the argument for it. The argument against it. It hasn't been used since 1930, so why are we tampering with the Constitution? Secondly, in the states that have passed it, it comes into a question that raises litigation related to the question of whether or not if you don't pay a prisoner minimum wage, it's indentured servitude. So if that happens, the cost will go up, and simply put, the prisoners will not be utilized. On that aspect, I represent Nevada Department of Forestry. The current changes in the criminal system, we're already getting out of having volunteer prisoners work for us in the fire thing because we only have them 2 to 3 months. Quite literally, the way the new systems are, we actually have people that are eligible for parole on intake. So that's an argument for and against it. Question number 5, the diaper tax. It wishes to eliminate the cost of taxation for individuals that are buying diapers, whether they be juvenile or adult. That's what the bill seeks to do. The argument for it, it's a health issue. People shouldn't have to make a choice whether or not they can buy diapers for their kid or themselves as they get older, or their parents or something. That should not be an issue. It's like food. I mean, we just passed it on the last one, taking certain taxations away on tampons and stuff. These are sanitary items and therefore should not have a tax. That's the argument for it. The argument against it is it'll be an $8 million hit to the state economy, including $3 million that go to support schools. The other argument against it is what's next? Soap, toothpaste, dental floss. So that's that question in a nutshell. Question 6, right to an abortion. Highly contentious discussion. The argument for it is we need to solidify this within the state constitution to be a protected status. The argument against it is that it was voted on by the people in the late 80s and can only be changed by the citizens of the state of Nevada. You have a right, a person has a right to have an abortion up to 24 weeks. That is solidified in our state law and cannot be changed by anyone but the voters of the state of Nevada. Also, some people fear this would actually require us potentially to actually pay for abortions. Question 7, voter ID. The goal and objective of this one is to make sure that people present a valid ID when they first get registered to vote, so that way we can make sure that people are lawfully voting. The argument for it is it'll create a more secure system and that we need to do everything in our power to make elections trusted again, because some people have lost faith in the electoral process. The argument against it, you've never proved fraud, so therefore you have no reason to bother to do this. It's just a waste of time, and why have a ballot initiative on it? So those are the questions 1 through 7 in a very brief nutshell. Obviously there's much more information provided in your sample of ballots, almost voluminous. You can also go to the internet and research. Most every one of these has an advocacy group for and against. Some of them that don't are kind of interesting to me. So in that respect, you take your time, research them. The state constitution to me is not a light thing, and we should always be very cautious in changing it. But also I tend to believe we should be having our politicians do a better job of voting on certain things rather than clogging up our ballots, because there are certain states, maybe to our west, that have a lot of things on the ballot. I think they actually went through A through Z and they had to go to AA or something on their last ballot.